This episode of Dan 3.0 is brought to you by the new Ford Fiesta. It's a pretty big deal. Hey world! It's Tuesday right now. It is 2 p.m. Central Time. And so far today, what I've done is, let's see, what have I done? First, the moving man came to look at all my stuff to give me an estimate as to how much it would cost to move it all. And then I took a shower and I ate some breakfast and I checked comments on the last episode of Dan 3.0 and I checked Twitter. Then I went to the post office to fill out a change of address form so that I don't get mail here anymore. And then I went to the bank to switch banks because I can't use the bank that I have now because I'm moving. And then I went to Target to pick up a Rubik's Cube. Rubik's Cubes they're a one-player game. And I know what you're probably saying or thinking. You're probably saying or thinking, Dan, don't you already have a couple of Rubik's Cubes? And the answer to that is no. I actually have more like 15 Rubik's Cubes, but they're all in boxes. So now what you're probably saying or thinking, or you're probably just thinking it. You're probably not saying, you're probably not talking out loud. That would make it kind of weird. Now you're probably thinking, so Dan, what's the deal? You can't just like spend a couple weeks without a Rubik's Cube? There we go. And the answer there is no, that's not it. It's just that I've got to do a task today with the Rubik's Cube. Revision 3 username Phoenix? Is that how you say that? They submitted a task called Rubik's Cube and pogo-stick where they say go back to the roots of pogo-bat and show us that you can still solve a Rubik's Cube while jumping on a pogo-stick. Okay. Rubik's Cube. Pogo-stick. Let's do it. Oh my god, Dan, your pogo-stick makes such an annoying noise! Oh yeah, and I'm eating lunch right now. Excuse me. Delicious. I've actually solved a Rubik's Cube while pogo-sticking 2 times in videos in the past. And both times that I've done it, I've gotten comments from people saying how irritating the noise my pogo-stick makes is, and that like their parents heard it and thought that they were watching porn because it sounds like old mattress springs or something. I don't know. This is a big burrito. It's really big. Big. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna remove the audio from my pogo stick and I'm going to replace it with audio of me vlogging about a vlog topic that you guys suggested in the moderator module like I asked you to in my last video. So okay, let's try this again. Rewind. Okay, so the winning moderator module suggested vlog topic was submitted by YouTube username CompWiz1993, and it says, hey Dan, last week Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed. I think you should start a discussion on various groups in the military, gays, women, etc. I think it should brew a pretty interesting conversation. Okay, I'm inclined to agree. I think this should be a pretty interesting conversation. First things first, we gotta make sure everyone's on the same page. What was Don't Ask, Don't Tell? Or actually, I suppose, what is Don't Ask, Don't Tell? Because even though Congress has voted to repeal it and the president has signed the repeal doesn't go into effect right away. Don't Ask, Don't Tell is the United States military's current policy regarding gays and whether or not they're allowed to serve. And what it essentially says is that if you're openly gay, if people know that you're gay, then you cannot be in the military. But if you are closeted, if you're gay but people don't know that you're gay, then it's okay and no one's allowed to ask you if you're gay and you're not allowed to tell anyone that you're gay. And if you happen to come out of the closet while you are in the military, then they will kick you out of the military. Don't Ask, Don't Tell became official military policy in 1993, shortly after Bill Clinton was elected president. And it's interesting because when Bill Clinton was running for president, what he said was that gays and lesbians should be allowed to serve openly in the military. But when he got into office, the political reality was that the votes just weren't there. So they came up with Don't Ask, Don't Tell as a compromise. And I think it's pretty important to understand the origins of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, because even though in this day and age, 17 years after it went into effect, we tend to view it as a very restrictive policy, back when it went into effect, it was actually intended as a baby step towards allowing gays to serve in the military. Because before Don't Ask, Don't Tell existed, there was just a complete ban on gays in the military. Gays just weren't allowed to serve at all. Fast forward 17 years to last week, and President Obama signed the Don't Ask, Don't Tell Repeal Act of 2010, and pretty soon gays will be allowed to serve openly in the military. So, where do I stand on all this? Well, frankly, good riddance. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I said earlier, I understand what they were trying to do when the policy was put into place back in 1993, but the fact that it was on the books for 17 years, I mean, such a restrictive policy, it's time for Don't Ask, Don't Tell to die. I am an avid supporter of gay rights, and I mean, it's kind of funny that I have to vlog about this because really, there's not a whole lot for me to say. I mean, this whole issue just boils down to the fact that the government was essentially saying to gay people in the United States, you cannot do something that straight people can do simply because you're gay. And that's a big fat, pardon my French, pile of merde. That means shit. It's a pile of shit. I mean, gay people are just normal people. There's absolutely nothing about being gay that would prevent someone from being able to do everything that's required of someone that would be in the military. And if someone who's straight and in the military has a problem with serving alongside gay service men and women, well, I mean, frankly, I don't have any sympathy for them. They just need to grow up. So, I don't know, there you go. Those are my thoughts. My opinion on this one is pretty strong. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this, though. Post comments, post video responses, and I'm particularly curious to know what you think if you disagree with my position. So comment away, video response away. I will be participating as well in the comments. Oh, and did you see me finish solving the Rubik's Cube while pogo-sticking? I mean, it wasn't my fastest solve in the world because A, I'm out of practice, and B, this cube isn't lubed up, but I've still got it in me. I can still do it. I still did it. Okay, anyway, it's sponsor time. Take it away, Dan, sitting in the same chair in the same place at a different time wearing a different colored shirt. Real quick before I go, I'd like to give a great big ginormous thank you to today's sponsor, Ford. As you know, the fine folks at Ford were kind enough to supply us with a Ford Fiesta to gallivant all across the country. Over the course of the past couple of months, we've gotten to know the vehicle in and out. It's a great car, but like all great things, this too has to come to an end. Before flying back to my hometown here of Lincoln, Nebraska for the holidays, I had to give her back. But looking back at the Fiesta and all of the crazy awesome features that it has, I'd have to say that my favorite features, well, it's a tie between two. First, the keyless entry. As long as I have the key fob in my pocket, I can just press this button here, and I get right on in. It's particularly nice when it's cold outside. You get in the car that much faster and can turn on the Fiesta's heated seats right away. My other favorite thing about the Fiesta isn't so much a feature as it is just part of what the car is. It's incredible gas mileage. We drove almost 10,000 miles. Now that equates a lot of gas station stops no matter what you're driving. But the fact that we were in a vehicle that gets 40 miles per gallon, I mean, we just straight up saved a lot of cash right there. Ford Fiesta, awesome car. It really is a pretty big deal. Anywho, that just about does it for me for today. Thank you oh so very much for watching this episode of Dan 3.0. Tune in again on Friday for another fantastic episode. Okay. No. Okay. Missed.